You're listening to the Unpenned Show with Paul and Andy, broadcasting live around the world. We believe freedom is free. It is enslavement that you're paying for. If you ain't mad by now, you're not paying attention.
One of my very, very, very favourite songs, PPK and Resurrection. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name's Paul Rippon.
My name's Andy.
And here we go then, live on Blog Talk Radio, 9:05 p.m, Tuesday, the 21st of May, 2013. Welcome to our live listeners. We do this every single Tuesday. Just once a week.
Just once a week.
That's enough for any man, isn't it? Once a week.
Well, when we're working as well, it's trying to squeeze it all in.
You read them girly magazines. Those girls may argue with us differently about that. It's our Tuesday night of sanity, isn't it?
Yes.
It's where we clear the decks, clean our minds.
I call it respite care.
I think we actually do a little bit of homework and housework, don't we?
Yeah.
In our heads.
Yes.
Because that's where we really live, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, let's start off the show like we always... never mind the niceties. Never mind how's the kid. None of that rubbish.
No.
Let's go with the number one topic. To vote or not to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I hear this all over the internet. 5+ years in for both of us.
Yeah.
We came off the internet a little while ago now, and to vote or not to vote. You go first.
Well, I know where voting got me, and not very far. 2 steps forward, about 5 back, usually.
Yeah, but that's our lifetimes, isn't it? That's the lifetime that we've lived in. Mm. But, I mean, I've actually said, I've broadcast a number of times now. I think it's about... Is it about this time of year? I haven't got it yet. That blue and white form. Don't lose your right to vote.
Don't lose your right to vote.
Don't need the electoral register. And if you can text it in, you can go online, or you just have to put a little signature at the bottom to say, these are the people who live in your house.
Yes.
Don't lose your right to vote.
Nope.
Now, I know, and I've broadcast this, and I know, I believe this myself, but only that this is what it could mean. And that is that if you sign that form saying, I want to be able to vote, you are abdicating the power that you have by saying, I want to be governed. You're consenting to the system of governance by voting in it.
Yep.
So I thoroughly understand that argument. But over time, I have listened to the alternatives, and I haven't heard one that I'm happy with. Mm-hmm. I've heard lots of dreams of people who say, we can do this, and we can do that. Well, we can't. All right, we have got 2 choices, I believe. One is to buy a tent and go find somewhere to live in the woods. Mm-hmm. The second is to deal with the problem. And the problem has got to be, it always comes back to the same root, doesn't it? Us.
Yep.
Now, voting, we can argue about the historical connections of voting. Yes, we were given the vote, the masses were given the vote, but the system was rigged before we got there, so we voted for a party and the agenda continued.
Yeah.
We know this now. We can't go back and relive 200 or 300 years ago. No. But we can accept what we have now is probably just a better version, from their point of view, of what probably was always set up. If voting really made a difference, we would immediately vote away their power and wealth and share it amongst ourselves. So we know this, don't we? Mm-hmm. So, instead of inventing a new system that we can't implement because there's not enough people who understand and even want it, what do we do?
Good question, because the illusion is that we've got lots of parties now to vote for. We have a lot more now than we ever did. Mm-hmm. It used to be Liberals and Conservative at one point.
Well, Liberal, Labour and Conservative.
Yeah, Labour was...
all right, you've got in recent times. Okay,
the Fabian Society set up the...
Well, we've got
Labour
some more
Party.
on them later.
Yeah.
In fact, we can go to that if you want to, actually.
Yeah.
We can go to the roots of the Labour Party.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we actually do that? Because that would... We call this Unpenned because I have no idea what's coming and when it's coming either. But let's have a little look at the Fabians, shall we? Because I find this an interesting subject. The Fabian Society did set up the Labour Party, didn't they?
Yes.
It is their roots.
It is their roots, yes.
The founding creed of the Fabian Society was published, the actual documents, was published around about 1867. Mm-hmm. And the prestigious UK socialists behind the founding of the Labour Party set down principles against private ownership of land.
Yes.
And towards the formation of a global, which is socialist administration, commune. Now, that's what the Fabians said. You know, now we see the word administration. What do we think that means? Because is it the administering of the nation, or is it the administering of the ration? Because it's got the word ration in it. All right, the word ration is quite simply the rate at which something comes, or the amount you get at a time.
The amount you get, yes.
Yeah. So we can say administering the nation is administration, but I'm not convinced that's it at all. I think administering the ration is the way it's gone. The group, the notable members were George Bernard Shaw, a playwright, and sci-fi writer H.G. Wells. And they say that people should pay rent for permission to use the earth. 1867.
1867, yeah.
I need some bigger glasses. 1887.
Oh, smaller eyes.
1887. Now, all the links about what we're talking about this evening will be below our YouTube broadcast, which gets edited and put up tomorrow. That's Wednesday. So if you listen to this on YouTube and you're interested in researching all the things that we're talking about, the links will be below the very YouTube that you're actually watching now. I do really would, I do sort of impress upon you, reading this stuff, printing it out, filing it, is the only way that you're going to get to learn it and repeat it. We're being made to be copiers, but we're copying everybody else. The into formation agent is going well, isn't it? It's actually working very well.
Yep.
We've got to make ourselves nothing. We're not a copy. And the only way we can prove that we're not a copy is to use our own words to speak into reality. If we keep using others, then we keep going back for more. So we're being programmed for, by them. It's the old adage. Can you think anything that you've not been previously told? Well, you should be able to eventually, shouldn't you?
You should be able to.
You should be able to come up with questions that nobody has asked that you know of. That's the key to knowing that you're moving along, isn't it? That you come up with questions that nobody has previously answered for you.
Yeah.
And then you can almost answer them yourself. This is the most probable answer. Go online, double check it, and you may find that other people have come to the same conclusion. But you've done it on your own. Now that's thinking. Back to the Fabians. Clearly this is a forerunner to global governance. The institution where we are today, trying to restrict individual rights in the name of saving the earth while driving the masses into a global collective ruled by secretive societies of elite members. It therefore aims at the reorganisation of society by the emancipation of land and industrial capital from individual and class ownership, and vesting of them in the community for the general benefit. In this way only can the natural and acquired advantages of the country be equitably shared by the whole people. It sounds great, doesn't it?
Sounds wonderful,
It sounds wonderful. Socialism in its most flowery form.
You've just got to work out who's going to benefit and who isn't.
It sounds... But do we not, to some extent, and I get a little concerned about this, in this movement that we have today, and I don't know what to give it, this group of people that are trying to effect change in many different ways, and I don't want to criticise them. That's not my intention, to criticise them. But whose life are you trying to change? Because you can't effect change in others' lives until you've sorted your own out. The first person you have to save is yourself. Now, I get a little worried that the people who are perhaps suffering and on benefits see this as a reward for socialism. This is, I mean, I don't know. The people who have more look down on those who have less. And the people who have less look as equal to us. See, equality to me is, can I tell you what to do?
No.
Can you tell me what to do?
No.
That's as far as equality goes.
Yep.
Everything else can be unequal. But that's equality, isn't it?
Yeah, should be.
Everything else can be different.
Yeah.
You can have more bedrooms, more dogs, more cars, more holidays. That doesn't matter. I'm not interested in material equality at all.
No.
But it does make a difference to how we live and how we try and look upon. Because how many people do it on a financial judgment when we say, are you equal? They immediately say, what car do you have? What job do you have? What's your income? How big's your house? How many holidays do you have? So we've been well trained, haven't we?
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
We've been well trained to miss out on what equality really is. And that's just that you can't tell me and I can't tell you. But then people say, but that means there's no control system. There will have to be something.
No,
but there will have to be something.
Yeah.
I don't think I trust the public at large
I know it's,
to install a fair and reasonable system on their own.
I've had it said to me that, oh, well, you're one of these anarchists. You want anarchy.
Yeah.
No, I don't want anarchy. That's just, you're putting words into my mouth now. You're telling me what I'm thinking. They seem to have feel they have the right to tell you how what you've just said.
Now,
what you should have said.
This is what happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
They
you mean this?
Yeah, they listen to what you say and say, oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Then reword it, and you say, no, I didn't say that. And they say, yes, you did. I said, no, you just said that. We speak the same language, but we don't always understand one another, do we?
No.
We don't.
No. And isn't that how politics works?
Of course that's how politics works.
That's just a simple breakdown of how it is.
Well, I'm coming along the line of saying, if we're not happy with the system we've got, how do we change it? Well, first of all, we've got to change ourselves and accept that we've been screwed, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've been right royally bloody screwed over. And this system is going hell-bent as fast as it can to put in a do-as-you're-told system because we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. The apathy that people feel regarding politics, I think, is an abdication of their responsibilities. I know that voting has never worked in the past. I understand that. But who have you voted for? Yeah, this is where we are now. And you get the old argument back. Well, if you don't vote for one of the bigger parties, a vote for the smaller one is a wasted vote because the big ones will get in. It's correct.
It is.
These aren't. I'm not looking for an argument here.
No.
But what are we going to do realistically? Are we going to get onto councils, which is my intention? I do intend to try. Are we going to attend meetings, and are we going to try and learn this system? Because if we don't learn this system and how to try and turn it around, then what are we doing again? What actually are we doing? Are we just children shouting at the playground? Are we just looking through the windows and shouting at the teachers? We are.
Yeah, it comes back to they say it's your right, but it isn't your right because they've given you the right to vote. Because
they don't tell us who to vote for, do they?
No, they hand the power over. You hand your whatever power you had, which is very little anyway. But the very little power you did have, you've handed it over to them by signing that form and saying, right, I allow you to go up and set the polling booths and this, that, but they don't set them up. We set them up with our money. It's our money they use to do this.
Oh God, we're the circulation.
And then you're just given a bit of paper with 3 or 4 names, 5, 6 names, and whoever's standing, and then you're given a pencil.
It is a pencil.
And it is a pencil. It is, and you've got to just put one cross.
And as soon as that count is actually counted, and it's declared, the ballot paper is destroyed.
It is, and it's a cross. So you don't sign your signature.
No.
But they've got you on a list with your name on and where you live. But you put a cross. Now. Is that saying to us you're illiterate? You can only come in and sign with a cross.
Well, I guess.
Is it the illusion that they're saying that they're keeping your vote? It's your secret. It's your secret vote. You don't tell anybody what you voted.
It's the anonymity of it, isn't it? It's the anonymity of it. They always wanted it to be a private, and it was a private decision. So I understand that, but getting back to. Yeah, we can go about the anomalies of voting and about the way it can be. I'm not going to say fixed because I can't prove that.
No, but we can't prove it's not either.
No. So we don't do that, do we? We just say that if voting made a difference, they wouldn't let us do it. We've all heard that one, haven't we?
Yeah.
And it's not who votes; it's who count the votes. We've all heard that one as well.
Yeah.
I think did one of the German officers say that at some, and it doesn't matter. These quotes don't matter. So we can keep putting up walls for ourselves, and we can keep going around the same maze.
You can.
So, are we going to go and get to stand for council? Are we going to find like-minded people and educate ourselves to actually challenge these people who claim authority over us? Because if we're not going to do that, what's the point? What is the point?
We come back to that same old question, though, that we've discussed this quite a lot, about the amount of people that are in authority that you go to put these things in place are actually working for the government anyway.
Well, of course they are.
So
it recruits those that can't manage for themselves anyway.
Exactly.
They're trained from the ground up. They're grown for it. These people might as well put in a plant pot and say he'll be ready in about 23 years. So, yeah, it is that wriggle room that we're finding is getting smaller, isn't it? It is. You can feel the change now.
Yeah.
That you think, what the hell? We're in such a bloody mess here.
Such a mess, yeah.
You know, we can pretend all day that we'll challenge them here and we'll challenge them there. But half the system works for the system. Yeah. So they're going to vote for whoever they're told to vote for. The unions have been destroyed, but we can get into an argument about whether unions put up to it. Well, it doesn't matter. Here we are today.
No.
So
through listening to other people instead
Yes.
of making a decision for yourself.
That's right. So, are we going to vote and try and effect change, or are we going to blame the system for all our problems and wake up tomorrow and blame the system for all our problems and wake up the day after?
I used to do that, but I'm past that now. I don't do that myself now.
So we have the emergence of a fourth party, don't we? The emergence of a fourth party, spot on time. Now, it sounds like I'm going to be negative about UKIP, and I'm not going to be negative about UKIP. I'm not.
Were they called Veritas at first or something?
Do you know, I don't know.
Wasn't it?
I'm not quite sure.
It was that guy off the BBC that set it all up. What? They made him take a fall, didn't they? The tall, handsome, firm-jutting chin.
Yes, I can't remember his
white
name.
head.
Mr. Double Barrel somebody.
Yes.
He did that programme Shaft, didn't he? I can't remember his name now. It was the BBC chat show all the morning, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, I can't remember it.
It'll come to me in the middle of a song and I'll shout it out when we get there.
He would have Mr. Nobody anyway.
But spot on time, along comes UKIP, saying the things that we've been hoping to hear, shouting in Parliament, the European Parliament more than anywhere else, about the things that we'd like to at least get into discussions about, and we'd like to hear what's going on here, there and everywhere. Mr. Farage. Do you know him?
No.
No, me neither. Do we know much about him?
No.
Does he say things that we think, well, that's pretty interesting? But who pays his wages? This is the problem, isn't it? You've said many times, and I agree with you, we never ask guests.
No.
Where's your money come from?
Yeah.
We don't, do we?
Well, it's the stiff upper lip thing.
It's almost like, it's not etiquette, is it?
No, it's not etiquette. It's bad manners. You don't ask people that. It's like asking a woman how old she is.
But we should.
We should.
I mean, we have some very well-known names who are putting themselves up to be judged and listened to, and we should sometimes say, where's the money come from? But I've never heard anybody ask.
No.
Make a point. Make a point, Watson.
We did.
Make a point.
We did say how basically funded. How are you funded? I fund myself. You fund yourself. Who funds these MPs? Who puts the money up to get them where they are?
Exactly, especially the European Party. I mean, they're on about £250,000 a year.
We talk about
one way or another. They don't pay any tax, and they get all the VAT off things that they buy.
Yeah.
You know, this is a cushy number.
It is a cushy number, yeah.
And we know the system does provide its own opposition, because it has to be able to control it. Now, am I saying UKIP is that? No, I'm not. Can I prove it? No, I can't. Can I go online and find opposing points of view that I may or may... Yep, I'm sure I can. Do I do it? No, I don't. So, let's say that UKIP keep going with saying the things that we're wanting to challenge the system with. And let's say that we get to the point, okay, are we going to back these guys, or are we going to ignore them? We'll have to make that decision individually when the time comes, won't we?
Mm-hmm.
But they're offering an in-out Europe vote. And Cameron's been panicking, hasn't he, Tintin? Tintin's been panicking, and he's said, is it for the second or the third time?
Oh, yeah.
You're right, we'll have to have one. In 3 years' time. 4 years' time, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why so long? Well, of course, because that's quelled the argument for another 4 years.
Yeah, and chance of another government coming in to change it all anyway.
I mean, Blair said it.
Yeah.
Brown said it.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron said it.
Yep.
Now Farage is saying it. Now, if UKIP said, we're going to give you a straight in or out vote on Europe within the first 3 months of government, and if we don't, we're going to call another election and you can throw us out.
Mm-hmm. Would they do that?
I might be tempted to put the cross on the paper. I might be tempted. What about you?
I can honestly say no. I would not bother. It isn't that I don't. That might sound wrong. That I don't bother. I have bothered in the past, and these politicians can't lie straight in bed. So.
I tried as hard as I could.
They go.
I tried to get you to bend.
They go
I tried to get you to say.
No,
I
can't. The only person that's in control of my life is me, and I've just got to.
I thought I'd get you there.
Dodge the bullets and bombs that they throw at us.
Back to the Fabians. All right.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, have I got him? I don't know. I'll listen to UKIP as time goes by, and I don't know personally, but I know I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to align myself with like-minded people and form what would be a resistance.
Yeah.
And at this lower level, it's going to be my local council and my district council, and I'm going to try.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't promise anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
And if UKIP are saying the right things, maybe I will and maybe I won't.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that living out of this system, in other words, I don't vote because I don't believe in it, makes no difference whether you bloody vote or don't. Because people say, I'm going to free myself from the system.
Yeah.
Go on then. Go on then. Because you've got to give up healthcare, your pension, your protection from the police, and any help you might need from the fire service.
Mm-hmm.
Go on then. Go on your own.
Yeah.
No, I'm allowed to selectively consent to which services I want. All right then. You're going to be working, are you? Okay, so you're going to give up your national insurance number, then you can't have a job. You see, I'm not trying to cause an argument. I'm trying to say, this idea of living outside the system,
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
No.
Right? I mean, and it doesn't mean you can work. We started off this with, get a tent and go live in the woods. Because you can have that freedom if you want. If you want to buy somewhere to live, ask the gas board to take the gas meter out. Ask the electric board to take the electric meter out. Get yourself sorted with candles and fireplaces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get your back garden growing food. And all you're going, you can do it. If you want to live out the system, do it.
Yeah. It's still a magistrate land registry. Doesn't matter
But
where
this-
you are.
But I don't want to. I don't want to go backwards in time.
No, I don't
I
either.
want to educate that we're not here by mistake.
Yeah.
And we can blame the 1% all bloody day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not, is it? Because we're nodding all the time with people that we meet. The reason we're here is something that we have to take blame for, accept that we don't understand it, and then we've got to start to write it.
Yeah.
And the only way that this actually forces me to do this is because I've got kids.
I've got kids as well.
I've got kids.
And that's the be all and end all for me.
But what are people living in? Bloody dreamland. Along we go. It is Tuesday, the 21st of May 2013. You're listening live on Block Talk Radio. To me, Paul.
And me, Andy.
We are discussing the Fabian Society, and do we actually have any interest at all in voting for somebody who says the things that we're looking for them to hear? We'll decide when we get there. I think that's what we've come to, isn't it? We've come to, you know, we'll decide when we get there. I mean, we can't change this system by talking about it all day. We can't change this system by pressing buttons all day.
No.
We can't change this system by sharing of ideas of what we could do, what we would do if we could. We have to get to the point we've been able to.
Yeah.
This is the biggest tanker. This is the ship of state. And turning this little bugger around is going to take
a long,
10,
long
20,
time.
30, 40, 50. I would say 100 years. And the reason I say 100 years, and the reason why we try and leave our little bit of ourselves in Neverland, is because we don't have that time left, do we?
We don't, no.
We don't actually have enough time left to fight the good fight for all our lives. We learnt late, like most people do. The majority of people who actually come to this with an open mind and a closed bloody mouth are over 40, aren't they?
Yep.
Because we've done the wake-up process before, and the wake-up process is really letting go of the old you. You know, you've got to die to some extent to move forward.
You have.
And if you're still fighting and falling out and arguing, I got news for you. You're not even awake yet. You're in the nightmare. You live in the nightmare. You've not woken up yet. Because it's the nightmare where you're fighting and arguing and falling out and
tossing and
living
turning.
You're still asleep, but it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
You've got to wake up. The calm comes when the morning comes. The morning is the wake. You don't party at a bloody wake, do you?
No.
No, you reflect.
You do.
You understand the loss. You celebrate still living. And you share.
And analyse.
Exactly. So if you're fighting, I'm going to tell you, you are not awake. You might think you are, but the symptoms are that of a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's what's the matter with you.
And just on the whole voting thing, and I'm loving this journey of becoming awake. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm fully awake yet. There's still tons to learn.
But you recognise the different stages.
Yes, it's the process you go through. And as far as being awake and UKIP is concerned, all I can say is UKIP if you want to. I'm staying awake.
Yeah, I know. It sometimes amazes us how these words seem to just fall one into another. And I know that it's not always intentional, but still they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one thing, the Fabian Society, and a lot of the Labour MPs openly say they're members of the Fabian Society. Well, the Society accordingly works for the extinction of private property. This isn't me making this up. This is out of their documents.
Yeah.
This is their paperwork. The link will be below the YouTube. The extinction of private property. A vote for Labour is to bring that a step closer. Now, people will be listening saying that's Agenda 21. Well, let's just go back to the Labour thing first. Am I knocking Labour? Well, if this is still their manifesto, and these people say they're members of the Fabian Society, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am, quite simply. No messing. The Society currently works for the extension of private property in land and of the consequent individual appropriation in the form of rent. It was you're paying to live here.
Yeah.
You don't own anything.
No.
You're going to pay rent forever.
Yeah.
For permission to use the earth.
Permission.
Each mission.
Is that each... I was just thinking that. Is that each mission that they're going on?
Each bloody one of us, yeah. As well as for the advantages of superior soils and sites. Listen to that. They're doing it, aren't they?
There's only one soil I can think of that they're full of it.
You see, they can throw it at us.
Yeah.
But now they're rubbing it in.
They are rubbing it in. They're rubbing our noses in it. They are. And our kids, do they know about these things? I can honestly say my kids don't know about those things. I'm convinced. If I went home now and asked them, and they're not kids anymore. They're in the 20s now. My kids, they're young adults.
We try and make shows, don't we? We don't try and make them too over the top.
No,
so people can actually
listen and keep your feet on the ground.
Well, I would hope that people would not be embarrassed to play this to others.
Yeah.
You know, people who aren't awake. You know, they say, have a listen to this and see what you think. All the documentation is below. It's all there for you to check. It's not just a cheap homemade YouTube video. Well, all the documentation is there for you to trace and track. It's historically proved to be existing, and look around, because if you believe what you hear, you're not using your eyes. Now the government says you believe what we tell you see, because the government says we'll tell you what you see and we'll tell you what it means. Yeah. Cement.
Ministry of Truth.
Yeah. Now, if you believe your ears ain't gonna. Your ears can't see. Your ears can't see, but they can hear. Anyway, the agenda appears to be spot on time, and it's the agenda for the 21st century.
It is.
Put together in the late 1800s.
It was.
And although we can see the Conservatives have got their way of doing it, and the Liberal Democrats, the poisonous little snakes they are the very force itself.
Yep.
They are the very liberals that want to see you lose everything. They are quite happy to see you destroyed, because they love making the rules, don't they?
They do. My daughter as Clegg was coming up the ranks before the last general election, my daughter said she was going to vote Liberal because Clegg said he wasn't going to bring in tuition fees.
How'd that work out for her? How'd that work out for her?
She said, she's totally gone off him now. I don't know why, but it may have something to do with now as you were finishing your last 2 or 3 years of university, suddenly university fees tripled overnight.
They U-turn everything. They do. They turn those U's around. EWE. EW, YEW, YOU. You know, it's... The actual Latin name for the word "you" is taxus.
It's taxus, it is.
Taxus. It's not connected, though.
No, it won't.
No connection. No,
can't see there any connection.
I mean,
there.
how could you get someone to actually research that the word "anno" in Latin, right, means the word "year" in English? And if you look in a proper dictionary, you find the word "year" not only means the definition we have, but it means to swim, or to swim near. No, it doesn't. Am I fibbing?
No, you're not.
No, we've done this. We've been through the dictionaries. We've been through the decodes. So what does it mean to swim or swim near? About last April, I think it was, over a year ago now, I think we did on Manchester Radio Online. I remember saying, we're going into the second great flood.
Yeah.
And this time, we're going to drown in ignorance and debt. The UK plunges down the economic well-being league, while the US remains top. There's an illusion that won't last much longer. In terms of disposable household income, the UK fell from 5th to 12th place in 6 years. It's all going well, isn't it?
It's going swimmingly.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I've been in the queues at the supermarkets, and I've seen they're talking about, where's all the jobs for the kids? Where's all the jobs come? Right? And they're stood in shops, made in China, made in India, made in Pakistan, made in Taiwan, made in South Korea, and they haven't even got the nonce to know that we've been sold down the river. It started early in our lives, didn't it? The socialist agenda really came after the Second World War, when we socialised healthcare and started really being busy with all our resources were taken and socialised at one point, weren't they?
They were. We were on our knees then, though. Weren't we?
We were. And then what happened?
We were on our knees praying.
The big sell-off started. The big sell-off started. What we got left? Nothing.
No, we're not much.
Post office, that's going soon.
That's going soon, yeah.
Just going soon. It's just started to make a profit. Just when they're ready to sell it.
Oh, yeah, funny that,
just after Jack first-class stamps up to 50, 60 pence. Just after it'll cost you £2 to get that one delivered to the Scottish Shetlands or something.
And the last government ploughed a load of money into the fire service, didn't they? I remember there was a big controversy. Prescott built a big fire station and it was empty or something. I don't know the full ins and outs because I don't like the fella, but this is me from I was Labour voter through and through, right from being 18, and I'm in my 40s now, and I can honestly say I don't vote Labour anymore.
Well, Mr. Mandelson will tell you where the jobs are.
Yes, he will, but the fire service is now been sold off, isn't it? that's underway. They've sold the fire.
We spoke about this. They're going to privatise it all.
Yes,
And if you don't pay,
if
you don't pay for it, you're not having the service.
you're not having the service.
This is where the fire service. If you actually phone, I mean, I'm not saying this is happening yet. I'm saying that if we carry on the same road,
Yes.
and you report a fire, they'll be asking you, "Do you have insurance? Do you have insurance?" And if you haven't got it,
They won't be coming.
do you have a means of paying other than insurance?
Yep. And that ain't the only thing that's in the sell-off, is it?
But when you follow that down the line, then we're going to be under pressure from the insurance companies to get insurance to make our house fireproof.
Yep.
Our house, we'll have to have this, and we'll have to have that, and we'll have to have fire doors. They start making the rules up.
And you'll have to have an inspection.
And it always goes back to the banks, doesn't it? Because what are banks? Insurance companies.
Insurance companies.
What are insurance companies? Banks. It is genius, isn't it? It is genius.
Yep.
And they're going to sell it all off. The police have been privatised quietly. The death management service has been privatised not so very quietly. And it is going to be an insurance-based economy.
Yep.
And whichever insurance you choose, you'll get the level of cover that you actually will pay for.
Or you can afford.
Well,
if you can afford it.
Well, that's how it's going to go. But particularly health insurance, you're going to get told to you must be this weight, you must eat these things, and your blood tests must come out clear that you don't do this, and you don't do that, and you don't do the other. Didn't sign up for that, did we?
No, it's...
Well, eating the poison that we do, and drinking the junk that we have, and breathing the air in that I've got questions about, we're never going to pass the test, are we?
No.
So we're going to get a denial of service. Aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to get a walking stick, painkillers, and some reading glasses.
Yeah.
And after that, you're paying.
Yeah. Basically. You will be on the basics.
They're going to privatise the entire government department, the schools, the hospitals, the care homes, everything. And if you can't pay, you won't get let in.
No.
There'll be no room at any inn.
No.
You will be on your own.
I don't see the MPs putting themselves up for privatisation.
£20,000 pay rise they want.
Apparently so.
20 grand pay
Yeah,
rise.
now wouldn't that be an interesting concept if
Well,
they
yeah.
had to court people to fund them to get the money? They had to actually go out and work and get them funds in to be able to do what they wanted to do. I wonder what would happen then.
No, we just pay the gas bill, the electric bill, the water bill, the fitted kitchen, the TVs, the computers, the iPads, the expenses. We pay for the dinner suits, the dinner jackets, the theatre tickets,
the champagne.
They've got the best wine. I can't say it. No wine for me. The best stocked wine cellar in the country. We are stupid, aren't we?
We are
really stupid, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, and people say, well, come up with some solutions then, guys. The solution is you.
Yes.
The person you're waiting for to save your ass stares back at you in the mirror every single day. Now, your time comes in 1 minute segments, and you get 24 hours of it every day. Do you do things of value? Do you share things of value? Do you associate with people who can help, where you can trade with them? Even if it's just trading conversations. I talk to you, you talk to me, and we both benefit from the association. And even though we're not doing business in a commerce type way, we're actually doing good business in an educational way. And isn't that the way that every interaction works in reality? You either have something of value and the other person would like it, and you trade. We're just doing it with conversation. But that's what we do. Now, I'm not talking about barter. I'm talking about you have something of value in your hand called money, and they have something that you want. Well, that's how trade is. Don't we trade with each other? Don't we try and trade with like-minded people conversationally? Don't we find ourselves mixing with people like ourselves? And we have this view that we don't admit, and that is that we don't trade with people who are perhaps below our social status. And the ones that are above us, they don't want to trade with us either. No. So we trade with like-minded at the same strata.
At that level. On that floor.
And that's what you find. Groups of people are from the same social strata. Now, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Whether it's indoctrinated from school, it doesn't matter. It exists, and that's how we live.
And that's how it is.
And that's how we do it. And we find it very hard to interact with those above us, and we find it very hard to interact on an equal basis with those below us, because those below us have very little. So they end up having nothing to trade with. And the conversation backs that up as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They have nothing of value that we can have conversationally. And people say, you guys are actually building a divide and conquer argument here.
Yeah.
We're not, are we? It's been done.
No, it's,
I mean,
we're just saying how it's been done. This is it. Done deal.
Thanks for thinking that we did it. We didn't do anything of the sort. We're actually saying things that people don't say. We're actually speaking in a way that we're right on this and other things in one way or another, because that's how it is.
All we did was help pay for it. Collectively.
Yeah.
Each and every one of us, it doesn't matter who it is, we all pay for this.
But this is a circulation that we're in. It's always a circle. And we are the circulation. We are the blood that transfuses not only those above us, but those below us. It's a vampiric, predatory system where those that have to give it to those that want it and those that need it. Where's all the jobs?
Exactly.
Mr. Mandelson will tell you.
Well, yeah, he's...
I mean, this is... People should be absolutely flicking furious.
Yeah.
I said flicking.
Yeah,
Just do the headline, we don't need any more.
I stopped getting mad about it all. It's... and people can say... I've said that I don't vote, and I don't intend to vote, and somebody will say, well, you can't complain about this guy then, Mandelson, who's in here. Mail Online. Immigrants, we sent out search parties to get them to come, and made it hard for Britons to get work, says Mandelson. It's...
the Prince of Darkness.
And I did vote for that government that he was in when I was actually going and partaking in the system.
Headline. Look at that headline.
Yeah. And it's... We're not getting at immigrants here.
No.
And people say, "Oh, the racist." No, we're not. No, we do.
I would be horrified if someone said that, because I'd have to apologise and say you've heard me wrong.
Yeah,
you've heard me wrong. That's not what I mean.
That earlier,
no, that's not what I mean.
No, that ain't what I mean.
I'm not on that divide and conquer. I mean, we do know if you want to make a rich country poor, you start filling it full of poor people. That's step one.
Yeah.
And then it starts to bring the wages down.
That was the idea of it.
And because they because they tell at this country, many of them, not being able to read the language, not being able to write the language, and obviously speaking the language is difficult for them. Maybe not impossible, but difficult. Well, they usually manage to find a job, don't they?
Yeah.
Or it's because they get given benefits. Well, okay. You argue with the people who give them.
Yeah.
All right. But if you're on them. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
We've got a whole heap of people who are asking for personal and independent freedom on bloody benefits.
Yeah.
The
two don't go together.
This
really,
system only promotes value. It only promotes value, and up until just recently, you still had the chance to educate yourself. You still had the chance to get what you wanted if you asked the right people on college courses, nighttime courses, training programs.
Yeah.
You can still do it to an extent. The system says you want to work, we'll help you. There's no job, so I'm not bothering. Well, you'll be right then, won't you? You'll be spot on about that one, won't you? There'll be no problem there. You know everything. You just get yourself watching Jeremy Kyle, and if you're that bored, watch the flicking repeat in the afternoon on ITV2, why don't you?
Yeah.
If you have nothing of value to bring to a party, you're not going to end up being a very welcome guest, are you?
No.
Now, people think we're talking about money, but we're not, are we?
No.
No, money is the love of money is the root of all evil. And if we don't organise where money belongs in this silly game, we'll always put it at the top. It's not, is it?
No.
Wealth starts with your own personal well-being. Look at your house, look at your friends, look at the state of your life, and look at what you know. What do you actually know?
It isn't about your personal wealth, is it?
No. It's about what you have to share.
It's about what's in wealth in your head, in your nut. Get it in your nut.
Do you have anything to add of value to a system that will let you take away as long as you add something of value? Welcome back to the show then, Tuesday the 21st of May 2013. You're listening live on Blog Talk or the after event on YouTube. Welcome back to the show.
Hello there again, Paul. Now then, I wanted to carry on about Mandelson's Mail Online and about how they brought immigrants across. And it was to make this nation better and stronger and fulfil the jobs that us so-called stuck-up Brits wouldn't do.
We had got to that point, hadn't we?
We had
got. I mean, we can admit it, or we can just pretend it didn't exist. But we had just a few years ago up to 5 million people. I mean, the actual number of people between 16 and 64 not actually doing anything is over 9 million.
Mm.
Now, there is a small percentage of those that don't have to work.
Yep.
Okay, congratulations to them. I wish them well, and I hope that stays the way for the. If they're rich enough not to have to work.
Fine.
Crack on.
Yep.
No problems at all. But a massive number, in excess of 8 million, are not working for one reason or another. Yeah.
But they did go out and pick the top people from these other countries. And I remember it being in the Radio 4, because I listened to Radio 4 quite a lot on during the day when I'm working. And they said they wanted doctors and engineers and these kind of people from not so third world countries, as it were, to bring them over and use their brains to make us better, make Britain better. And I agree with that to some extent. Yes, if they've but the argument to that was as well that it takes the brains of that country away from that country.
Well, I have something to add to this.
So yeah, that's fair enough. But down to a personal level, and I know MPs always say, "Oh, I can't comment on specific cases, but I can say things in general." So right, I'd say to Mr. Mandelson, thank you for doing that, and I've no problem with migrant workers coming here. I've no problem with that at all, and. How it affected me and my business was when the Polish workers came across and into the building trade, and they were doing work over here, and they were a little bit cheaper than me.
Yep.
And the reason they were a little bit cheaper than me was they didn't have a mortgage here. They didn't have the trappings that I had here and the things I had to pay for. What they were doing, they were living in digs. And I know in our town in Ripon, there were a certain company went along buying houses and putting these people up.
In large numbers.
In large numbers. And I'm talking 8 to a room, 8 to one living room. And they were sharing one kitchen and one toilet.
Yeah.
So they were living in conditions that if I wanted to go, if there's nothing stopping me going to Poland and going plumbing and building over there.
No, not at all.
In fact, when all this thing kicked off with Iran, and I think Iran are actually looking for people that are builders and plumbers and people like that. You can actually go to Iran. I remember seeing something online about
Iran
it.
or Iraq?
No, Iran.
Right, okay.
This is before it kicked off with the. They're supposedly building nuclear weapons. This is before it kicked off.
But that's very much a deflection, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
Iran's main export is oil.
Yes.
I mean, the minute that they start talking about a nuclear program or doing something to affect oil production, oil goes up $5 a barrel.
Yes, yeah.
Well, they end up millions of pounds a week better off just by having that.
Yeah, and that's what made me explore Iran. But what put me off was my ignorance, my language, my inadequacy, my laziness not to learn other languages. And I understand that at school now. I couldn't be bothered. It just bored the pants off me doing French and German, blah blah blah. But if I'd have had the foresight to do those things and had the energy to put into it, then it might have be a better, rounder person. But it's too late for me now to do that. I'm too long in the tooth now. But these people that can't comment on specific cases, it had these people that came across here to work had an impact on my business, and my turnover did go down a little bit, and especially hit us in 2007 when the crash came. And I've never really recovered from that.
Nobody has. Except the bankers. And they've recovered on our great-grandchildren's future tax revenue.
And I don't think I had enough work for 2, maybe 3 people. Now I'm struggling to get enough work for me.
But we've been taught to be poor, aren't we?
We are.
This is back to the Fabian Society.
Back to the Fabian Society.
This is what's happening. This is what's happening.
Right
We're back
under
to where
your nose.
we started, right in front of you. They now call it Agenda 21. But that's not what it was called before. We've gone through this now. The article will be there. It's actually put together by somebody many people will know, Aaron Dykes. Was part of the InfoWars crew. He's now gone solo, and I'm delighted to find this article by Aaron. Delighted to promote it as well. I think he's an okay guy. He's not actually written the article himself. He's actually taken it out of the books that he shows you exist, and that's what they've published for themselves to share amongst themselves. So Agenda 21 is just the Fabian Society redressed.
Yeah.
And they openly admit that they are wolves in sheep's clothing. They don't mess about. I mean, they're not bothered. I mean, we have to ask ourselves, they're very brave, aren't they, in the way that they say, well, we're doing it. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And you think, if they couldn't say that, so why are they saying it? It can't be true, otherwise it wouldn't. Well, what difference is it making? We read all these stories in the papers. Some partly come true, and some partly are just for approval.
Yeah.
To see how we react.
They are, yeah, they're just a depth tester.
I'm very sure now that there isn't a conversation in this country that isn't listenable to. I don't say they're listening to all of the conversations, but we are listenable to. And if I'm right, it's always been done on keywords. Always been done on keywords. If I had to set up this society and I wanted to watch everybody and everything, there would be somewhere safe, a hard drive with my name on it. And everything that I've done would be being put on that hard drive. Google. Go ogle, as they say.
Google,
yeah. Google. Google. We've only covered 2 subjects. I've got loads of new stories.
We have, yeah.
There's subjects we've
tons here, yeah.
We do try and get people to share this with like-minded people. Even if you think they're asleep and they'll be... We hope we've done nothing that you can't share that you'll find embarrassing. Now, I know there's loads of stuff out there where people go a little bit overboard, don't they?
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying overboard in a way that I'm insinuating they're wrong. Well, the truth is, most of the time, they're actually right. But people can't take it at the beginner's level, can't they? You know, if we said 2 or 3 years ago that your washing machine and your cooker and most of your electrical appliances will have the ability to listen to you and be remotely switched off. Should it be required that they are? They would have laughed at us.
Yeah.
But now the European Union say, yep, we can do that. Yep, we can do that. We definitely can.
And the appliances that they're making have that technology built into them.
Yep. I mean, the climate change thing that we all know is suspect at the very least. The climate change thing, the wording has been changed by Europe now. And they're actually taking on board, as the implementation of smart meters increases.
Yes.
We're behind in the UK putting in smart meters, you know. We're about a year or 2 behind.
They're just starting to come in here now.
Yeah, we're a year or 2 behind for smart meters, and the European language has started to change. That they're going to take control of our resources and provide them in sustainable measure.
Yes,
exactly like we thought they were going to.
There is EU to dial back measures against global warming.
Yeah, well, what it means is that they're going to stop the global warming climate change arguments.
Yeah.
To a point where we actually now go to sustainable, which is the word they've wanted to usher us along to for a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sustainable everything. And Europe want the power to hand out these resources to those that need them in the amounts that are sustainable.
Yes.
And here we go then. After all this time, the sustainable smart meter agenda slowly appears.
It does.
We knew about this years ago.
Yeah,
bloody years ago we knew about this.
Yeah, the sustainability thing that they're going about is they've just repackaged it. They've just come up with another name with it. It was common purpose. Before that, it was New World Order. Before
this is the land of confusion, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is Genesis. This is the remaking of humanity in front of our very eyes. The agenda for the 21st century surely tells us that what we had at the beginning of this century will not resemble what we have and what we are at the end of it.
Exactly.
Because there is no doubt in anybody who looks at this. We are being changed in a way that we're never going to be changed back. We won't be able to change back. If you want my sci-fi forecast of where the world's going after I'm gone, we're going to be living in upside-down bowls.
Yeah.
We're going to be living in cities that have got an enclosed, controlled environment. Dome cities. And the outside atmosphere will be toxic to us, or at least will think
We'll
it's
be
toxic
told
to
it's
us.
toxic.
Will we be eating food like we eat today? No, we won't. No, we won't. The doll's house food is now here. Looks like food, tastes like food.
Yeah.
It's absolutely rubbish. It's rubbish. Loses 60 to 90% of any nutritional value if you stick it in the microwave.
Yeah.
Well, that's if you stick it in the microwave. But what do you think processing is?
Yes.
It's already been irradiated.
It's already been, and coated with bleach and
God knows
to make
what.
it last longer.
Exactly. So if we could look forward into our crystal ball, which doesn't, you don't need a crystal ball.
No.
You just need to read. We're going to be living in dome cities, either above or below ground.
Yeah.
We're going to believe the outside atmosphere is toxic, and we're not actually going to be interested in anything else that goes on. We're just going to live in that commune. And will we reproduce ourselves? No. Will we be born and bred for purpose? Yes, we will, like we've always been born and bred for purpose. They're just going to have better methods of doing it. How many of us will there be? A lot less. What will we do? I don't know what we'll do. I don't know what we'll do, apart from maintain ourselves.
Maintain your Facebook status.
I don't know. Well, that's the way there, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way there is the eternal playground. This is the eternal playground. This is gambling for your future and playing games all day. This is where you'd never come in from playtime to learn anything.
No. And where do we get this from? Well, if you get chance, go to Eden Project down in Cornwall. If you get a few days to go there, go and have a look. That amazed me, that place. That was... I forget the guy of the name who built it, but he were into rock music, and I think he was a music producer and all that, and he reckons he came out of that and he needed to show the world how we needed to this ecoism, this eco warrior, this going back to the global warming thing and all this, that and the other. and there is everything, every flora and fauna on the earth is under those domes in Cornwall. And then the other place to go, and this goes back further than the Eden Project, is Kew Gardens. I had the pleasure of going to Kew Gardens, was it last year or the year before, and I'm so glad I went there. I am so glad I went there. It was started in the 1600s, around about the same time that they were making the Bank of England, I think, as well.
Well, that was towards the end of the 1600s, but the royal families we have today, the Germanic control system, installed itself in 1652, I think.
And it's behind a huge wall. There's a huge wall that goes right round it, and it's cut off by the River Thames, so it is totally enclosed. And again, there is every flora and fauna on the earth is collected there, and it is under glass.
But it is
a lot of it is under glass.
The cities is what we're going to.
Yeah.
Move into the cities, giving up driving.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of young people now I actually speak to who have no interest in driving.
Well, it'll be centre parks, won't it?
It is centre parks. That's exactly that's the experiment, isn't it?
It is.
Centre parks is the experiment, I think, whether it's intentional or not. It seems to be working that way.
I went there for a week. I hated it. I felt oppressed.
Yeah, but they're looking for the solution that we will fall for. And they're looking for the existence that we will have. You know what was in the middle? The swimming pool.
Yes,
it should have been. I've never been to centre parks, but the swimming pool should be in the middle.
We could only afford the swimming. We went for a weekend. Tell a lie, we didn't go for a week. We went for a weekend.
Was there arrows on the floor telling you what to do?
Yes.
And was there signs on the wall saying this way for this and this way for that, like you were stupid children? You were buying peat. You were buying peat logs to
grow on the and it would only form a heating in the place. It was freezing.
And you had to buy the peat logs
because we went out of season. Yes,
you had to buy the peat. You couldn't buy anything else.
You can't. You've got to buy everything there. I dropped the kids off and the wife at the little chalet room, and they're all the same.
Yeah,
they're all the same. And
little fish balls.
And my wife thought I'd left her.
Because you had to go park the car and walk back.
It took me that long to walk back. But apparently, what you meant to do is hire a bike. You see, you meant to hire one. Right, we went on a shoestring. The only thing we could afford to do was a swimming pool, and that's because it were in with the price. We couldn't even afford to shop in the supermarket. I remember we lived on ham sandwiches all weekend because we thought everything we're going to be doing archery and rock climbing and rowing across and it were all extra once you got there.
We pay for it all, don't we? All the experiments, the human experiment continues. We're it.
Yeah,
we've always been it. You know, they've always made us in their image. But they haven't made us with their intellect.
No.
That was never the plan, was it?
No.
the people who assume godlike status, and they are godlike in the way
Yeah.
that they can control creation, they can control who lives and dies, and they do affect history every day.
Yeah.
So whether you want to argue about the word God or not doesn't matter to me at all. Whether you want to argue about anything that we say on the programme doesn't matter to me at all.
No.
You can rage all you like, because argue as you rage. But if you want to leave a comment, if you want to add to the show, if you want to find us on Facebook, if you want to actually speak to us as opposed to type to us, if you want to come on the show and call in, if you want to find me on Skype and be part of this radio show, if you think you've got something to add, something to share, get on with it. Come and talk to us.
Yeah. We don't charge, do we?
No. We don't charge. We're not bullies. We don't charge anybody, do we?
No.
You know, we do one radio show a week. But if you think you'd like to speak to us, well, come and do it. We'll do 2 a week.
Yes.
We'll do another one.
We could do. There's nothing to stop it, is there?
The shows are the sanity for you and I is what it is.
It is.
And you say, guys, give us solutions. It'll be the same answer to that every week. The solution is you.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
Because you're the builder. Right? You are the builder. And if you don't have anyone to build with, then you're the labourer. Now, you've got to learn, if you're the labourer, you're not the mason, are you?
You're not.
Because the masons are the builders.
Yes.
And we are the labourers.
We are the labourers.
And this is our relationship. Now, there's no problem with us learning what the mason knows.
No, there isn't.
Saying, hey, old fella, I think I can do this. I can do this on my own.
Let me have a go. Yeah, I know. It's if the labourer wants to do that, like you say, he can. And in that I've worked in that environment quite a lot. And the mason had done the time. He'd done the college. He was there laying the bricks and doing the stones. And the labourer was mixing the cement, loading the scaffold, getting this next stage ready, sorting the bricks out. And what I saw was that it was brains and brawn. Brains and brawn working together, the sweat of the brow, because the labourer does sweat. He has to get them bricks in the hod and up the ladder and on the scaffold. That, in my time, that's how it was. There are a lot more labour-saving devices now that are available, and so-called health and safety. But what I'm getting to there is there was a little bit of banter went on, and it egged each department on, and how the mason got the labourer to work that little bit harder was he'd say to him, now then, you got me all those bricks up on that scaffold by lunchtime yesterday. I bet you can't get the same amount of bricks on that scaffold by 10:30 by tea break today. And the labourer would go, well, I'll have a bloody go. I'll show you.
Wanting to impress the master.
Wanting to impress, wanting to impress the master. And what he did was, he got those bricks up there, and by 10:30 they were there. And sweating and sore and
and all he wanted a pat on the head, didn't he?
He wanted to say, brilliant, but there's no way he could keep that pace up all week. No way at all. No way at all. It was just seeing what one could do to the other, and who was a little bit brighter than the other. Now, what I didn't see was that labourer turning round to the mason and saying, now then, I've got those bricks up there 2.5 hours earlier for you. I'm going at 2 o'clock, and I want paying for the day's work.
Yeah, that's right. If the labourer did 50% more work, he probably only got 5% more wages. Never did figure that out properly.
No.
But that's why the mason's the mason.
Yes.
Because he can do the mathematics.
Yes.
He can do the maths.
He's got the slide rule.
He knows how to do this.
Yeah.
And the labourer doesn't have that education.
No.
Nothing's changed, has it?
No.
Look at what them kids wear when they pass out, of all words. When they pass out of university, what have they got on their heads? It's a bloody mortarboard, isn't it?
It's a mortarboard, yeah.
Because they're going to be the labourers for this Masonic system that still exists today. The solution is you.
Yeah.
It always was.
Yeah.
It always will be. And if you decide it's you, you find other people that decide the same thing.
Yeah.
And if you're still arguing, it's not you.
No.
It isn't you. Because we never claim to be right or have the truth, do we?
No.
But we give what we can see. What we see and what we can decode is what we share.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to oppose my sight, you'll be opposite. If you want to sit and oppose me, you'll be opposite.
You will.
Yeah. Now, they say opposites attract. And we can say, well, no, they don't. But they do. Opposites attract in a way that we like being challenged. And an opposition will challenge you, but he'll give you a fair challenge. The challenge will be fair and robust. And if you take that challenge, you'll either win or lose. But you've taken the challenge.
Yeah.
So whether you win or whether you lose, you will never fail to learn. If you want a life of sunshine every day, then you'll back away from the challenges. You see, adversity is what makes us better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being challenged.
Being challenged.
Being right and being wrong. Having to apologise for our mistakes and enjoying the occasional victories.
Yeah.
And gloating over neither.
No,
Learn from them both. Humility. Humility, isn't it? Because we never promise to have anything other than what we think might help somebody who's listening. And we hope it does.
Yes, we do.
Until next Tuesday. Good night from me.
Thank you, and good night from me.